There are few better feelings in a game of League of Legends than smacking somebody in the mouth right after they get done talking trash. My personal favorite, I never shoot first, but as soon as somebody says something rude in the all chat, that is a Control-C, and when we're at their Nexus, we are hitting Control-V until I am not allowed to type anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not a 2-2 series right now. This is a 2-0 lead for Shopify Rebellion after a dominating second game.
Yeah, and a dominating second game that really, really came from that top side, right? We've talked so much about how Contractz is super important to this team. We've talked so much about how Fudge was this all-pro snub, has really steadily improved throughout the split, and is now still really, really doing work, especially on that Yorick. You'll be curious to see 100 Thieves' response now on the red side. For, I believe, the first time today, right?
Yeah, going to be swapping it up here, trying something a little bit different as they are on match point. They have to reverse sweep, and we'll see if they can find the consistency to be able to do that.
So one interesting thing here, Shopify on the blue side banning the Yone themselves. This has been banned against them twice so far. This is almost always banned against them because people do not want to give it over to Palafox. But Shopify banning this is telling me they're not willing to first pick it, and that means that they don't want to allow Quid to play it either, as Sion will be the final ban for 100 Thieves.
Varus is up, so wouldn't be surprised to see Varus just grabbed here. You know, this late in the series, unbanned first pick does seem like an easy option for Shopify. It is just so high prio these days.
Yeah, you think we're in for a good old Varus Ezreal trade?
It could be the classic.
Yeah.
I feel like we're seeing people prio the Varus so much more than the Ezreal now, though, that sometimes the Varus goes through, the Ezreal is up, and then people are just like, I'd rather play like Kai'Sa and try to dive him, or I'd rather play, something that's going to scale alongside.
Give me Ashe to go Archer
exactly.
versus Archer or something, right? Like,
yeah, and immediately we see the response coming out of 100 Thieves is the Jayce and the Maokai. We've talked so much across multiple casts about how good of a combination this is. I know River is much well known for the Nefiri, which is an assassin, or something that is a heavy ganker like Jarvan. I actually think his Maokai is kind of underrated in the champion pool that he has. His team fighting with this champion in particular is really, really good.
Oh, I actually love this, going for the Munda here, because I actually think from this position it's a flex. I think it's actually a pretty solid matchup into the Jayce. You can farm easily and you can outscale in the top lane, but also it's a great jungle pick. We've already seen it in the jungle a little bit here in the LTA. Farms incredibly fast and can easily match. Of course, well, the flex is gone now.
Yeah,
unless you're going to go for some jungle.
Yeah, they spoiled a little bit.
I do think this gives you an incredibly beefy top side. With this kind of a top side, you're going to be going towards, a scaling mid lane mage who's going to be putting out a lot of damage. And we already know what the comp is going to be basically for Shopify. It's going to be Varus, and it's going to be a high DPS mid lane mage, and it's going to be someone who's engaging for Seoul, and they're going to do everything to protect that. So now 100 Thieves have got to decide what is the answer, and it's going to be Riven into the Ornn. It's time to reverse sweep. The Riven is undefeated for a sniper in competitive play. Let's see if he can continue that.
Sniper calling his shot. They're going to flex that Jayce into the mid lane, which makes it even more interesting to see what Shopify is going to have left for Palafox to pilot, because I think, again, Palafox did go down on the Annie. His stuns were very crucial, and I think he's been having a solid series thus far on the Rise and Annie picks.
So one thing I'm a little bit worried about here for the side of 100 Thieves is you've already got double AD solo lanes. So that means I'm expecting some kind of a splash of AP in the bottom lane somewhere.
Might just be the Leandry's Maokai.
That does not seem like enough for Ornn Mundo.
I agree.
If it was like a bruiser jungle top, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. It's not the best, but it's enough. Against this, you are going to struggle without a true AP threat.
But when you look at the common bot lanes for AP, is Ziggs going to be enough, right? Against Mundo Ornn, I don't think it's really going to get it done. So I feel like what I'm reading from their comp is that they're going to look to fight past the front line. I don't know that it's going to work, but I think it's going to be all about diving the Varus and likely prospective mid laner, because I think we're going to get an Orianna or a Viktor or something like that from Palafox, and it's going to be a question of, can you actually just get by them and one-shot them? Which is why I'm already thinking, before we even see the lock-ins for the rest of 100 Thieves, there's the same read for Shopify. They're thinking Kai'Sa, they're thinking dive. I feel like Renata goes so hard for sales, because they're already going a comp that is going to have to just hard dive you. And Renata basically says you're not allowed to do that.
Well, let's see if
makes it absolutely miserable for that.
If they have the same read, because we were also talking the same way. Remember, just in the previous game when we were watching 100 Thieves on the blue side, being like, surely they banned Melio here. Melio has to be like such a clutch pick. Surely Melio has to be banned away, and then no Melio ban. No, instead, we're just going to end up having the Poppy, Silas, Ezreal, and Kai'Sa all banned away. So honestly, the 280 carries we were talking about most likely to be picked into the Varus are banned out, and it'll be the Alistar locked for 100 Thieves. They will save 80 carry for last.
So they are saving 80 carry for last. You know, so if they do want to go the Renata route, I think Renata is crazy here for Seoul if they want to go for that. That being said, you know, there are a lot of other options. You can go more aggressive options if you want. Things like the Neeko obviously do work. You can try to play lane dominant 2v2. Alistar, famously horrible level 1. You can look to get prio, look to play that sort of route. I do wonder, with the Alistar getting picked on 4, though, are they really cooking bot and it's like a Karthus bot or it's a real AP bot or like something really out there? I still don't kind of believe it based on the team, but it leaves open the opportunity, right?
And I still think there's value in Neeko for that counter-engage purpose that you guys are talking about. It's not the same as hostile. It's not the same as hostile takeover. But yeah, it still could be going mid, but it still has counter-engage value with the Pop Blossom if everybody's diving in. But it looks like, no, we are going to have the Neeko in support. Viktor mid for Palafox.
And diving through a Viktor ult, diving through Viktor damage.
It's Viktor versus Jayce in mid lane.
Oh, God.
Arcane.
I've seen this television show.
They need Jinx then if they want to win.
Yeah.
Oh, true. I guess they're...
Get the 2v1 from Arcane.
We'll just give Varus a blue wig. He'll
You can go Mel in the bot lane. It works.
Oh, yeah. Surely that would be enough AP damage.
Hey, we've seen it.
Ooh, okay. So gonna go with the Smolder here for FBI, going for the scaling, going for that powerful poke with a true damage burn.
It's an answer for those frontliners. It's also something where you can stack off of the Munda and the Ornn a lot if there are skirmishes, if there are fights. That being said, it's double range in the bot lane. When I look at this 2v2 matchup, I love playing a lot of Smolder. This sounds like a nightmare. You're going to pick Smolder into Varus Neeko with an Alistar support? Like, what is the Alistar doing in this lane?
Miserable.
These two people are just going to click on your character while Alistar's just dancing in the side brush saying, you can't milk those.
You can't see, but Flowers is doing the Alistar dance.
That's all you can do.
Promise.
What are you going to do against this? That's what you're going to do.
But that being said, like, if you can get into a good position as a Smolder, you can kill frontline, and you can also assist with the backline dive because your ultimate does have that backline access to try to kill off the Viktor, to try to kill off the Varus, which is going to be the goal of this game. It's going to be an exciting one, but honestly, I feel like this 100 Thieves draft is really hard to play out, and the other side is simplicity itself. It's big beef balls in the front lane, easy engage with Ornn, and 2 scaling carries. You just protect them.
Non-subscribers, we'll see you in 30 seconds. For the rest of y'all, though, Emily, do you concur with this? Because, I mean, I feel like I'm totally aligned with what Isaac is saying here.
No, I actually really love what we've been seeing out of Shopify in their drafting, right? Like, even when I wasn't necessarily sold on the composition overall in the last game, they showed that they knew how to pilot it. They really, really focused on, again, getting that Yorick into really good position. They marked the Azir constantly. They marked Sniper constantly. And this is, I think, going to be a difficult ask from 100 Thieves. By contrast, it's a much easier ask from Shopify in terms of piloting these 2 compositions.
And I feel like in the last game, we got to see a little bit of a 2-game redemption arc for both Contractz and Bvoy compared to game number 1. Contractz had a really rough game 1. Bvoy eventually hit the soul spot that he needed on Senna, but he was having a worse performance overall compared to FBI, but they both did great in game number 2. We talked about how Contractz and Fudge were the gold difference in that second game as well. So everybody on Shopify kind of flipping the switch when they need to.
Well, that's where we pointed out, this should be a lane where Bvoy can also excel, right?
All right. Well, it looks like level 1, once again, not going to be too scrappy, as we have Jat standing by for an interview with Coach Riven.
Up 2-0 in the series. How does that align with the expectations you had coming into the matchup?
Pretty good, honestly, despite our practice this week being pretty terrible because we're getting, as Fudge mentioned, we're getting railed by Fly. But we actually just said at the end of week debrief that even if we play how we did against Fly, it'll be easy against 100 because they're 10 times worse. So that's what we're doing right now.
I've seen you've been really hyped in the coach room when things have been going well. What has gone well for you guys this series, and what needs to go well in this game to finish the 3-0?
I think holding on in the game one, that even though the situation was bad, they knew what the win conditions were, stuck in the game. And then once we retook that game, I think game two was just easy. And I think 100 Thieves are pretty good tilters, or pretty bad tilters rather. So hopefully we can finish it out 3-0.
Biggest thing to happen in this game to get the win?
Nothing, honestly. Our comp is just controlled. We just need to not let their funny plays happen.
Okay, I'll let you get back to Washington. Thanks, Revan.
I love hearing that from him. Like, what do you guys have to do? Nothing. We just have to wait for them to come to us. But I do think that is really crucial for the team composition that they picked.
That's him saying Coach Gap without saying Coach Gap.
I mean, my favorite thing is, yeah, we played really bad in scrims, but even if we play that bad, it's fine because 100 Thieves is worse. I love how both of these teams have such confidence that they were the better team coming into today, as now River could be in some trouble here as Shopify have invaded and stolen away his blue.
No, River did get it over the wall there with the smite. So
okay.
He's going to be pretty happy about that because that's Contractz who went topside all the way down towards bot side to try to steal this away. And River ends up getting it. So there is some wasted time there for Contractz. He tried to use the really fast early clear here of Mundo to go 4 camps, then cross, and was not rewarded. Of course, he wanted to play around that pushing bot lane that they did have.
Yeah, I think it was a really good recognition by Contractz, again, of what lane he can play around. Unfortunately, didn't end up working out. River is going to be happy with that as he's able to take out this Scuttle on the bot side.
But before the game started, Sniper was hyping up his Riven. Let's listen in.
Hey, our comp's good. We're going to win this game.
Smolder or Shiva?
Yeah, I'm on that Riven.
Let's say the VP.
Well, you need to see this up, man.
Yeah.
True. Could it be
They
on
have that
support?
Nautilus, so...
Yeah.
He's feeling confident. He is undefeated in competitive play on it, but we'll see if he can keep that record going. I've got to say, last game to me, the Annie kind of felt reminiscent of the Xerath game that we saw in the past from Palafox, where Palafox was so far down individually. He was down like 140 CS by the end of the game, but it just didn't matter because his role was basically grouping with the team, just allow Fudge to take all of this farm. He knows he's behind, but who cares? Because I'm going to point and click stun Quid, and I'm going to punish him. And it's kind of, reminiscent of that, and also some of these funny picks we've seen before, like the Aurelia from the last series, and all these other things.
And it also, a lot of the fights in that were similarly reminiscent of the last time these two teams met, right? And we saw that Aurelia coming out for 100 Thieves in that game. Meanwhile, it was Palafox on the Xerath. And more importantly, I think in that specific game, it was Fudge on the Gnar to be able to set up for him. But we saw in this series, just in the last game, a lot of teamfights go very similarly to the teamfights in that game 3, which Shopify did win, which then put them in that position to be in the upper bracket in the first place.
Palafox proving CS doesn't matter. Gold is fake.
I'm going to tell my teammates that next time.
Well, if you want to talk about CS doesn't matter, we have a bit of a CS issue in the 2v2 here, the bot lane that is now swapped top side. You can see all these minions left to farm for Bvoy, who is already 2.5 waves ahead of SBI's Smolder. I was about to say, Isaac, going back to what you mentioned towards the end of the draft there, I feel like this is all going according to plan for Shopify.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you pick a scaling weak early bot laner, and your support locks in like Alistar, you're just like,
hold on.
All right, buddy. Okay. It's
for sure, man.
I get it. All right. It's going to be one of those games. So you have to stay untilted. And now they're just going to keep swapping back and forth away from them. But this now puts Sniper in a weird position where it's like somebody has to deal with the lane. It's not going to be FBI. So good luck, Sniper.
Isaac, I've heard Challenger AD carries talk about this type of situation before and call it a turn the music on game. Where, sometimes you're tryharding and you're locked in, but then you see your support lock in Alistar when you're up against double range. And you're like, okay, we'll just kick the music on. Yep. Have a little bit of a see you guys at 25 minutes type of game this time. But right now, let's see what we get here with these mismatched matchups.
And one thing that is really nice about the Smolder, if you're laning to Ornn, is that you get to kind of stack on him for free. He doesn't have that much threat, especially in this 1v2. As long as Sniper can continue to stay safe and farm, which is going to be a question, because if Contractz goes topside and they stack this wave and dive him, that would be a disaster. He has no TP. He's got to be able to stay safe, keep your HP at full to be able to defend the dive if it comes in.
And a big thing for 100 Thieves is that they are actually able to get the first Drake off of that, right? Because they did swap away from that prio bot lane of the Varus Neeko. They will be able to push in onto this turret. It should give them prio over Grubs as we see Contractz already moving up. But really nice first Drake for 100 Thieves. And I believe the first time they've gotten first Drake in this series.
It is the first time they've gotten first Drake in this series, and it's also the earliest first Drake by just about 5 minutes, at least 4. Both other Drakes have been taken 10 or 11 minutes into the game. River is making his way up towards this top part of the map. Contractz and Seoul also prowling around the jungle here. River does have his ultimate to be used defensively if he needs it, but Contractz and Seoul aren't really looking for a dive. They're just looking to steal this red buff away right now, and with a quick Tangle Barb plus arrow over the wall from the Bvoy and Seoul's combo, it's a nice little bit of chunk onto River as well.
It absolutely is, and I mean, Shopify have just got to be so happy with the position in this game. You know, yes, FBI is farming down on the bot side, but even with him swapping away again, he's still down over 20 CS, and Sniper did what he could do, which is stand there and get experience, but he did not get to farm anything as it came in under his tower, so he was just sacrificing farm where you look on the other side. Now you're in this situation where you're 20 CS down bot, and you've taken your winning top and made him go down 20 CS as well. And so that is the matchup that they basically picked themselves into, and now they are really paying for their draft sins, I feel like, a little bit here. Like Alistar and Smolder into this lane, it's just, you can't interact, and now Sniper can't either. So you've passed the buck a bit, and at least Eyla is here to cover so we can farm this wave, but Sniper needs to be strong. Like, you know, Riven doesn't have utility. You go in and you one-shot someone, or you go in and you die and you do nothing. There's not really a lot in between.
Well, the first neutral objective might have changed the story in this third game compared to the first 2, but the second neutral objective will not. That is now 3 games for 3, where Shopify get all 3 grubs. The difference this time around, 100 Thieves were nowhere even in the neighborhood to contest. Game number 1, they got to punish Shopify after. Game number 2, they tried but were a little bit late. Game number 3, they didn't even bother because the map state just didn't favor them.
Yeah, it just feels like such a weird game. When you look at the draft from 100 Thieves, it's like, okay, you've got Riven, you've got Maokai, you've got Jayce. They want to play aggressive, they want to do things. You look at their counterparts of the Ornn, the Munda, the Viktor, who are all really happy to play slow, but then you slap in this bot lane that they have who needs to play super slow and scale and is going to lose the 2v2 so hard, and it feels like now they can't be aggressive at all. So I'm really struggling to see how they're going to be able to kind of keep this game close, and even if they do keep it close, does the Smolder give enough to outscale the Viktor and the Mundo and the Ornn and everything on the other side?
Yeah, that's my big thing is, even if this Smolder scales up, right, together with the Jayce, will they be able to actually put enough damage onto what Shopify have gotten?
Oh boy, a massive amount of burst onto Sniper, kills him immediately before Eyla and River can make their move. You could see what 100 Thieves wanted to do, bait him in, back Sniper up, but the bait was a little bit too strong, and Shopify Rebellion got what they came for.
And that's one of those death recaps, you check it out, and you see the time in combat, same time as the time CC'd, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, 2 + 2 equals whoops.
All right, didn't get to move.
Great for Sniper, but it was a beautiful CC chain. The Tangle Barbs into the Chain of Corruption, into the Pop Blossom, and then you've got all the stacks on Varus with a Blighted Arrow, and it's just like, boom, that last little bit of HP is gone before you can even flash. So Sniper's Riven not off to the start he was hoping for, as Shopify Rebellion is up nearly 2,000 gold 10 minutes into the game.
And mid lane, quietly, is just a farm fest, right? Which Viktor, again, is going to be really, really happy about. You know, last game we had this story of like, okay, well, maybe Quid can come back. This has been a quiet game where they got 3 grubs, they have 3 pushing lanes, they're up 2k at 10 minutes. They're laughing.
Yep, and as we see, I mean, the other big thing for me is, again, that was really, really nice from Bvoy and Seoul recognizing that they could go in because of how slow and kind of uncharacteristically so throughout this entire series 100 Thieves have been to respond to certain things at points, right? Like, they are trying to get these setups, but then Shopify, again, with this bot lane, was able to make the pick first. And like you said, Sniper is just CC'd. Like, there's nothing he could do, right? He immediately gets blown up. Really, really nice stuff coming out of Shopify. We'll see, again, if they're able to close it out.
I mean, they just have to now, on the 100 Thieves side, you're looking for some sort of big X factor. I feel like for Shopify, the game plan is so clear. You have this massive advantage. Show up to every single objective and put pressure on your opponents, right? Force them to try to fight you. Force them to walk in these situations where they're at such a disadvantage now.
And it looks like Shopify are hearing you loud and clear, my friend, already moving the 4-man squad down into the bot side river here as this second Drake is about to spawn. Fudge can teleport to join if he wants to, and Sniper does not have his own TP to try to follow that. So Shopify should just be able to take control here and start this up. You can see that Eyla has already lost half his HP. Yes, he has Unbreakable Will on the Alistar to still be able to enter into the fight and maybe walk away, but it is risky. As you can see, the vision situation for 100 Thieves, not ideal. Bvoy going to zone FBI away, just try to harass that Smolder a little bit, as Contractz and Seoul will have more than enough damage to secure this Drake and guarantee that 100 Thieves aren't stacking anything.
Yep, and that stops any sort of early Drake stacking. Like you said, 400 Thieves, so despite them being able to get that first Drake, they won't actually necessarily be able to use that as like the power of it to set up team fights. Really, really nicely done again from Shopify, just playing around the pressure that they already have from their lanes.
Absolutely, and I mean, you look over at the 100 Thieves side, and no one is really safe from getting engaged on except for Eyla, because River is going to be going AP, so he's working towards that Leandries. So that makes it very easy for Shopify. Pretty much anyone that is showing up, you just CC and you kill them. As long as it's not the Alistar, you're down to spend your spells and just knock out whoever. And you look at Sniper up in this top side, he's just in such a tough spot because he got lane swapped out of a situation where he was looking pretty good. He was trading even, whatever. And now he's on Boots and Caulfield. The Sunfire's already done. Tabbies are coming in here soon for Fudge. You're not going to be able to pressure him. And no one's even answering bot right now. Sniper's got no TP and Quid is going top. So you're going to lose plates to the Ornn bot. They're losing plates mid. You're losing plates top. You're about to lose plates on all 3 towers across the map all at once.
It's so rough right now for 100
It's
Thieves.
looking like a sweep.
Yeah, as we see all of these chunks being taken out of FBI and Bvoy just constantly pressuring this mid-tier 1. They have pressure everywhere on the map. Again, like, and this with this composition, they don't even necessarily have to, right? We heard Riven, we talked about it ourselves. They scale really, really well, and at almost 14 minutes, they're up 3K.
I mean, you just look at even the vision that they have. This vision line across the river, there's all these pinks all across the river. They're able to really see where the Maokai is, it feels like, at every turn.
Okay, 100 Thieves looking for their chance to maybe put a stop to this, but no. Immediately, Shopify Rebellion just back away. They aren't going to allow 100 Thieves the avenue to punish.
I mean, it's just really smart stuff because Contractz and Palafox are whacking on the tower. So Seoul is basically just standing in that tri-brush waiting for where they would have to walk through to be able to make any sort of a play. They're just going to mark them. And when you have 3 losing lanes as a jungler, it's such a doomsday scenario because it's so hard to look for anything. They know where you are at every single turn. Fudge there, I think, was forging the tabbies. Yep, there they do come in. So he's got those plated steel caps. And he is kind of bulletproof right now. He's just got to keep getting XP, keep pushing in those waves.
Yeah, I mean, look at Riven. You've got cooldown shoes and the parts of a bruiser item, and then across the aisle, it's a fully completed Sunfire. It's the tabbies just getting forged, like you said. Fudge is an immovable brick object for this Riven.
And that's the result of having to swap away from that hard prio bot lane, right? To try to save this Smolder. And it didn't work because...
Is he saved, Emily?
No, it did not actually work.
He's looking destitute.
He is not looking all that great. As we see the kind of general timings for some of these Smolder stacks, the most important ones being 25, 125, and 225. Currently, FBI is sitting at 96 at 1521.
So yeah, he's about three-quarters of the way to where he should be. As you can see, a big chunk of damage there onto the Alistar. Not enough to threaten a lethal situation, but it is enough to force him all the way back. I mean, at 400 HP, even if you Unbreakable Will, you go in and you die instantly.
Yeah, and I mean, the upgraded boots are going to be available at this next Dragon here in a minute 30 because they have the first tower. They already have 2 out of 3 of those objectives taken. And they're looking good. I mean, Fudge is just going to start taking trades.
Oh, man, Fudge is going in for the Chad Ornn play. Immediately goes for the ulti commit. Another brittle, another proc, and Sniper is down to 350 HP. However, he did not commit the Wind Slash for that. So if he wants to try to go back and heal, teleport in to join a fight, maybe he could. But the objective is already gone before the fight even starts. Shopify Rebellion claim the Herald, claim the empowered boots from the feats. They are feeling good about everything.
Yeah, I was going to say that just allows them to get the Rift Herald, right? For free, nothing 100 Thieves can do about that. And they're also going to be able to get another turret off of this bot side for Fudge's Ornn. Nothing that Sniper is going to be able to do about that, but watch it die in front of him.
4,000 gold, 16 and a half minutes
one
into
kill.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really suffocating for 100 Thieves to have to deal with, especially when you consider the only neutral that they have is a single flower petal and a mountain drake from 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough, right? Like, it's hard, hard to kind of think about how they're going to be able to come back other than you need to look for that miracle play, right? You need to look for that multi-man combo where Riven flashes in and one-shots someone. You're looking for those dream scenarios because beyond that, you're just not winning this game now the way it's going. Fudge is about to hit level 12. He's even getting a ton of XP, so the ornaments are even on the horizon here as well. Those levels are going to continue to come in. And it looks like 100 Thieves have decided it's not going to get too much better. They're around here. They're looking for a potential fight.
Well, I like the fact that they just got the accelerated shock blast there onto Bvoy. That will at least knock the Varus down to about half HP, maybe give him a better chance to move into the river and establish some control, get some battle lines for a better fight.
They all at least have one item, so they do have that going for them. We'll see if they can make it happen.
Okay, Shopify Rebellion grouped up as 5. They're going to use the Herald as the distraction in mid while the Dragon fight is going to begin. Dragon down to about half HP already. Eyla looking for his opportunity to maybe go in as 100 Thieves still working on the Drake. Eyla zoning everybody away as Mom flies through, but immediately on the front line, the Alistar ain't going to survive. Fudge barely gets himself out. Sniper's about to die, and Contractz just needs one more hit to do it. Seoul with a beautiful job peeling, protecting Palafox, and his amazing job in this fight as immediately Contractz goes back in for the double kill. 100 Thieves lose 4, and the only thing they get back is Bvoy.
Contractz goes where he pleases, picks up the double, and that might just be the straw that broke the camel's back. FBI was so poked out early on here, and they decided to go for it. Quid, Eyla, Sniper, they're getting in on the back line, but Ayla's just kind of taking damage for free right now, while Fudge redirects the ulti on into him. Then Sniper, Quid, they go for it. They try to commit, but they can't quite get the kills off the bat.
Yeah, and off the backside, we then see Contractz basically sitting on Sniper's head, a briefcase going in there, and then Quid falling in the mid lane as well to Contractz cleaning that up.
I mean, they know, man.
Yeah,
they know.
They can feel it.
From that spot, if you choose to fight at that dragon,
Alistar
it's tough.
flash, Maokai flash, Jayce flash.
Push.
He sounds like he's on an EDM track. Push,
Yeah.
push,
It's a streamer, Alois, has really been popularizing Mundo, and he always plays that track while he's playing. So everyone in his chat is spamming push, and he is a believer in the Mundo, clearly. He almost has his Warmogs done as well. So now, Jayce poke, Smolder poke, who cares? Mundo's just going to stand there, tank it up, and he is comically ahead. You're nearly 6,000 up at match point. You are vibing.
And I want to praise Palafox in that last fight as well, because the placement of the Viktor, he avoided the initial engage. He throws down the gravity well on top of Eyla so nobody can save him. Then you have the Chaos Storm continuing to deal damage and get everybody low enough for the remainder of the team to deal with, while also managing to not die as they try to dive him with Quid's Jayce. So kind of, again, what we've been talking about with some of his other games. He's not dominating the lane. He's not going crazy with his farm, but when it gets to the fights, he's doing his job.
Yeah, and he should be able to not only soak up so much of that poke potentially coming out of the Jayce and the Smolder, but also just frontline. Like in that last team fight, we saw him pretty much just sit on top of Riven until she died, basically zoning her out from being able to do anything. She'd already kind of gone in and gotten CC'd as well. But yeah, again, like, it's so awesome to see this out of Shopify, because they'd have these games where you'd be like, okay, they figured it out. They played this really well. They had this globals team composition. They played the side lanes. They played the map. And then they'd lose the next 2 games to Dignitas, right? In games that were really, really scrappy, constant team fighting. They themselves have talked about how they've had problems closing games out. Have looked so good in this series.
I mean, absolutely. Fudge and Contractz as well have been looking fantastic. And when you're TL looking ahead, you're thinking about some of the struggles that they've had on the top side. That could be a problem there. Shopify really are looking threatening. They're on the Otacon. They're trying to put the finishing touches in.
They've already got it down below half HP, and the enemy jungler is now at 1/3. 100 Thieves have got to be desperate. They got to be looking for something. Sniper wants to come around on the pincer attack. River is going in with only 150 HP. Contractz also incredibly low as River is already dead to the ulti coming out from Fudge. Shopify Rebellion are too far ahead. Ayla's gonna die next. Sniper's counterattack did not work at all as he is forced to retreat. There's 2 dead on 100 Thieves. There's Otacon for Shopify. There's an 8,000 gold lead 21 minutes into the game.
We've seen it in their previous games. We see it here now. They do such a good job of being able to mark Sniper on these flanks, right? Fudge is able to stop him from really getting into the fight. Look at how low River already is. He is pretty much going to die instantly when Palafox ends up flashing in there. Jungler dead, Otacon to Shopify. Pretty much everything to Shopify.
Yeah, I mean, Fudge just won't let Sniper pass. Sniper pops the ulti. Nope, you're not walking through
you're
here.
Not going anywhere.
He's just going to mark him on that tri-brush, stands there, CCs him up every time he tries to walk through. They just can't get anything going, and now the first ornament is in there for Ornn. He's halfway to 14. It's just going to get worse.
And now Bvoy and Seoul looking for Quid. Chains of Corruption won't find him, but the Pop Blossom will. Follows it up with the Tangle Barbs for a rain of arrows. Execution. Shopify Rebellion get another kill. 0-2 and 0 on that Jayce for Quid. The first game was close, and Shopify held on and came back to win. The second game was incredibly Shopify favored as they controlled things from the start. This third game is just public embarrassment for 100 Thieves as Shopify Rebellion will silence all those claims about 100 being the better team that should have been in the upper bracket. Shopify looking to bust into the base, not even 23 minutes into the game. The tier 3 inhibitor turret is down before the Baron can even spawn.
I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, you're looking at Smolder. It's like, all right, he almost got his stacks. Surely that's going to do something. But he doesn't even have 2 items.
Okay, Palafox and Seoul, they get jumped on by River, but is it really that much of a consequence? Ayla's looking to join up and put some of the damage threat in here. Ayla on top of Bvoy needs to lock him up a little bit better, but Sniper makes his way into the fight only to just about be dead. River still trying to lock up Bvoy, and finally they get the kill. Onto the AD carry. FBI still spitting at him. Quid needs a little bit more opportunity to do some damage as Fudge and Contractz are soaking a lot here on the front line. Palafox with another death laser, but he ain't going to find enough damage. FBI, that's your big factor here. There's low health bars on Shopify all around, but they're trying to be careful. Seo's with the flash away as Quid tries to go to the skies as Fudge and Contractz fire back. Shopify Rebellion will decide that discretion is the better part of valor and walk away for now, except Contractz is already back to full HP. Mundo may still try to go where he pleases. 100 Thieves still working on the Drake. It's not going down particularly fast, but it will go over to the Thieves.
And that is a max bounty there, 1,000 gold on the objective bounty for taking that dragon. So that is a lot of gold going their way. They make that fight happen for themselves. FBI on 223 stacks. Now we can watch this one more time. They try to go for this pick here onto River, but Eyla has a pretty good angle. FBI is coming in. They do teleport in the Riven, but Riven just gets completely stuffed here. The CC lands, the Tangle Barbs, he gets CC'd up by Ornn, has to flash over the wall, but this bought so much space for FBI. River's able to get in. They shut down Bvoy, and this gives them an opportunity that they need.
Yeah, it kind of ended up being a split fight too, which when they were able to split Revan saluting the death. They're still in a really, really good spot. It was nice, though, to see that fight at 100 Thieves. Have them recognize they do stop that Drake stacking, right? Like where Shopify will not be on Soul Point by the time the next Drake comes up. Sniper is going to be able to take this turret down.
But what about Sniper himself? Fudge is trying to guarantee some sort of a punish here. Riven is hyper mobile, but a nice knock up there from Fudge at the very end. The clap, not quite enough, but the burn from the Sunfire Cape gets it done.
I was about to say, Bvoy's headed down, but I don't even think he needs him to kill Sniper at this point. He is already in such a good spot.
Yeah, Bvoy has his upgraded ornament as well as Fudge has hit 14. He's close to 15 now, too, so more and more of those items going to be coming through. It already shows 7k gold lead, but he shows ornaments are worth like 1,000 plus gold in stats, so looking really, really good here for Shopify. Like we said, they just got to keep showing up to every single objective and fighting it. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're getting in their opponent's face now, taking away so much of the jungle as Mundo becomes a real problem. If you get to 16, that rank up on the ultimate is such a crazy upgrade that you become almost impossible to kill in a 5v5.
Well, FBI at least now has crossed that threshold of the 225. The Smolder, though, still only on 2 items, and it's not like the big powerful items either,
It's not
right?
like IE or anything.
Yeah,
Essence Reaver and RFC.
Yeah, the Essence Reaver just keeps you poking. The RFC gives you the little extra range to do it more safely, but it's none of those big, wow, this guy just two-shot me type of items. So FBI is going to need to maximize his damage output in these fights if he wants to have any chance of his team moving on to a Game 4 and staying alive here in the Split 2 playoffs. Shopify moving into the top side, jungle 100 Thieves now as Mom comes in. Bvoy's trying to get away, but the Maokai ulti finds him. Bvoy's already down as soon as the fight starts up, but now Sniper's going to dive back in trade. River's knocked up into the air. Contractz is going where he pleases, and it's straight to the heart of 100 Thieves. He finally dies, but the Chaos Storm is a tornado, and Palafox guarantees it with a pentakill.
And that's Viktor from Arcane, baby. That Arcane Storm covering the whole screen. It's a penta for Palafox. It's going to be the Baron for Shopify. It's going to be the mid lane in him as well. They take everything.
What an amazing combination from both Palafox and Contractz. That ult that just took up the entire screen. And again, they're actually going to end up, they're going to end up backing off after this one to kind of reset.
Well, I mean, it's Ornn and Viktor. They can punch it forever, but they don't do a ton. But they do a ton in a fight like this. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, so River sets up the Maokai ult to go through, right? Eyla is already on the flank. The Smolder out goes through. They do kill Bvoy immediately, but Sniper is already dead. River is already dead. And then Contractz just absolutely goes forward immediately on to Quid, to FBI. They both get deleted by this massive Viktor damage.
It was the kill onto Quid that made the Storm big enough to kill FBI there too. Absolutely clutch, and Revan's just playing the solo.
Yeah. Penta, woo!
I love it, man. Everybody on Shopify ready to go now as there's still 7,000 gold ahead. The Baron's down to about half HP. 100 Thieves, they know they got to contest this. You cannot afford to give this away. River without the flash throws the ulti over the wall. Contractz still on the Baron, looking to keep this one secured. It is smited and secured by Contractz as they cannot get a kill with the Riven. And a massive pop blossom onto 3 comes out from Seoul before he falls. Quid's the next to die, and Eyla can't put the pressure onto Bvoy. Fudge and Contractz are strong enough to kill FBI on their own, and River's the only man left standing on 100 Thieves as Shopify Rebellion will find their ace. They will find their Baron, and with 30 seconds on death timers, they are marching straight into the base of 100 Thieves. You just have Mundo tank up everything. You don't need to worry about needing another wave. Shopify Rebellion are on the victory push, 19-5. The first 2 games already in their pocket. The third one going the same way. It was not a fluke. They're the better team. They're going to clean sweep 100 Thieves straight out of the playoffs. Shopify Rebellion 3-0.